Hello, beautiful people. I hope you're all doing fine. This is me, Bhumika, and today I am here with my friend to answer all your questions related to CLAT so that all your doubts regarding CLAT can get cleared through this video. So, I'm just going to be inviting my friend Avisha here. So, I hope that we will be able to resolve most of your queries and give you a good idea of what you can do to boost up your CLAT preparation and also help you aid and sail through that process. So, yeah, keep on watching.
चल मैं स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ ठीक है
Let me
Okay.
hold it in.
Hey guys, so Avisha is here. She is from MNLU Mumbai, and today she will be joining us to answer some of your questions regarding CLAT. So let us start with the first question. The first question is, how much time do you really need to prepare for CLAT? Please don't say it depends.
Okay, the suitable answer is it depends, but वैसे see how you do in academics school wise. So there are two type of people. A type of people are who are main focus is CLAT. So उसमें if you contribute about 80% of your time in the day to like studying towards CLATs, that's like 4 to 6 hours. So ठीक है. But if you're somebody who's also focused on school academics, so then time divide karo. So now, like right now, you're into last 4 or 5 months of CLAT preparation. So now your first priority is CLAT, irrespective of you wanting to do well in school academics. So usme 40% of your time should be towards your school academics and 60% of it should be towards your CLAT preparation. So मतलब 3 to 4 hours दिन में. And isko bhi put it into intervals. So like don't do it in one sitting, irrespective of how much time you're taking, depending on what your priorities are. So अगर तुम पढ़ रहे हो CLAT, so ये करो कि अच्छा you study for like 45 minutes at a stretch, take break for 5 minutes, and then school का कुछ पढ़ लो for half an hour, 45 minutes. So keep on changing ताकि even your brain keeps on thinking कि it's not too much stressed एकदम से while studying a particular subject.
Yeah, I agree with Avisha because like right now boards bhi hain, but still you need to also focus on CLAT if you really want to get through to into an NLU. So basically, I think like Avisha's advice stands, and you can surely go ahead and try to divide your time between both the things. The next question is, what about people who are weak at maths? Should they completely drop the subject or jitna ho paye utna karein?
So this was something जो मुझे कोचिंग में कहा गया था. I'm very bad at maths. The only time I did well in maths was in 10th grade. जब boards हुए थे मेरे, आए थे 95 out of 100. That was my math का peak. मतलब I suffered greatly with maths. Like 9, 10th में, 11, 12 में when I was studying maths for CLAT, I always used to cry. And जब नया pattern आया था, then जाके मुझे थोड़ा लगा कि ठीक है, I can still do maths. Because अब नए pattern में क्या है, you get 3 to 4 sets, and each set has at least 4 questions जो तुम्हें करने हैं. So जो मुझे advice दी गई थी, because I was bad at maths and it would affect my score, that I should try to do at least 2 sets in the paper. That is either 2 sets or 8 to 10 questions. So like for example, तुम्हें तीनों sets आते हैं. But तीनों sets में you don't know all the questions. Like first set से तुम्हें 3 आते हैं, second set से 3 आते हैं और third set से 4 आते हैं. So then you could divide those questions. कि ये नहीं कि तुम्हें completely first, second, third set पूरा करना है. इसमें भी same strategy लगेगी. Do the questions you're best at. And as far as maths की preparation goes, basics पे focus करो. Make sure that your addition, subtraction and multiplication is best, because वही होता है कि तुम formula सीख लेते हो, but when you don't go back to the basics like literally addition, subtraction, so you suffer there.
Yeah, I agree. Maths ko pura give up karna is not the solution because it can like really push up your rank, and your rank can go really low just because of 3 to 4 marks, and maths can fetch you those marks. So even if you are bad at it, try to practice your calculation, and try to attempt at least 6 to 7 questions in the math section if you can, and if you are able to, try to complete a good chunk of the whole math section. The next question is, what are some habits which will be beneficial for CLAT aspirants?
As such, they're not specific habits. I'll say do something that relaxes you. Like तुम्हें अभी pressure नहीं feel होगा, but when you're giving boards and उसके बाद when you're directly doing CLAT, especially the 1 month before CLAT, it's extremely stressful. So मतलब उसमें तो you need something that relaxes you. So instead of taking up something, so there are no desirable qualities to a CLAT aspirant. ठीक है, like coaching centers कहते हैं, teachers, parents, तुम अगर Indian colleges की मतलब if you read other websites that talk about CLAT aspirants, so they say कि a reading capacity होनी चाहिए, and वो there definitely should be there reading capacity. So अगर तुम reading में interested हो, do reading. If you're into puzzles, then do puzzles, but do something that relaxes you. Instead of because already you're going to be under so much pressure because of board and CLAT, instead of trying to get up a new desirable hobby that every CLAT person should have, do something that relaxes you. Like I think for 1 year before my CLAT, before I gave CLAT, I watched a lot of Korean dramas. I like binged them every single time. मुझे घर पे I used to get scolded. They used to be like, तू पढ़ती नहीं, तू बस यही देखती है. But for me, that was a way for me to outlet my stress. Listening to music, watching stand-up comedy. Who decides what desirable traits are? You decide it. अगर तुम stand-up देख रहे हो, you're getting relaxed. So then it's a desirable trait. Nobody wants a stressed lawyer. Everybody wants a lawyer who can think freely and is not burdened by what is expected of them. And you can never do law with expectations. You always need to have an out of box thinking to do CLAT, and you need to have an out of box thinking to do law as well.
Yeah, I agree with Avisha, because like you need to relax yourself, because CLAT is all about you're consuming new material every time you solve a new CLAT mock, right? So every time you solve a new passage, you're consuming new material. So you need to try to freshen your mind. Then only you are able to consume the material or do critical reasoning, because it requires your brain to function as well as it can, right? So as long as you keep your brain fresh and have habits that actually help your mind stay fresh. So for example, I sometimes used to get really anxious during my CLAT prep. It was not a very frequent thing, but it might happen like once a fortnight or something like that. So I used to also like have these whole sessions of listening to music all night long, or I used to meditate a bit, and meditation really helps. It is not a hoax. Many people think that it is a hoax, but it really helps if you are into it. So you can have these habits, and you can like also set your habits with regards to the time you wake up and the time you sleep, so that you can study either at night or study early in the morning. So that can also help you manage your time throughout the day, especially while preparing for both boards as well as CLAT.
Sleeping वाला thing, like मुझे बहुत कहते थे, like when I was studying there used to be like, तू लेट तक क्यों जागती है, तू जल्दी सो जाया कर, जल्दी
Same.
उठा कर. But not everybody can wake up and study in morning. Like one of my friends, she appeared for NEET. उसकी habit थी, she used to wake up at 4 in the morning, study before she used to go to school. But वो रात को 10-11 बजे तक सो जाती थी. मैं complete opposite हूँ. I'll wake up at 9, but मैं रात को 2-3 बजे तक जाके पढ़ूंगी. So it's do what's comfortable to you. If you're a person who studies well at night, then study at night. If you're a person who studies well during the day, then study during the day. Do what makes you comfortable and not what everybody's saying you should ideally do.
Yeah, I agree with her, because I also used to like study at night and then sleep till 11 or even 1 p.m. But that is not like a habit you should continue throughout your life. But if you really thrive at night, and if your mind is really good at focusing while studying at night, then you can surely do that. The next question is how to begin the preparation for CLAT, basically. Like, what are the starting steps that one should take?
So first step is, I think, take a mock before you begin and analyze where your strength is. So there's some people who without basis are really, really good at logical reasoning. There's some who are going to be good at GK without any basis. So analyze what you're good at and what you're bad at. Now, I was someone जिसकी GK in theory अच्छी थी, but GK in practice बहुत गंदी थी. Like whenever we used to have my coaching classes, I was the one who used to discuss GK topics, but when the same used to come on CLAT paper, मुझसे नहीं होते थे. Because I was more of a person who used to consume mass media वाली news rather than specifics वाली news. But legal में I wouldn't say I was naturally good at it, but I had an acumen for legal. Like legal में I used to enjoy doing legal के questions. So most of the times जो काफी questions लोगों से होते नहीं थे, मुझसे हो जाते थे. So take a test, take a mock test पहले, analyze कि अच्छा मेरी GK में ये अच्छा है, मेरे English में ये अच्छा है, and उस basis पे start your basics की preparation. Now, for example, you're not good with vocabulary in English, so work on your vocabulary. There are online websites पे vocabulary की practice मिल जाएगी. There's an app as well that's used for GMAT की vocab preparation. Although you don't have CLAT level vocab, but it's good for practicing vocabulary. So ऐसे करके अपनी strategy devise करो. So what might be my strategy would be very different from what's Bhumika's strategy. So इसलिए the step to starting the preparation is to find out your strengths, weaknesses, and उस basis पे cover your weaknesses first, while continuously practicing on your strengths. So don't be like कि तुम completely isolate कर दो कि अच्छा मुझे legal आता है तो मैं legal नहीं अभी पढ़ूंगी. I'll focus on logical जो मेरा weakest है.
Yeah, I agree with Avisha. You should always try to start with the mock test, because once you are doing that, you will get an idea first of all of the paper, the kind of paper you're going to be giving in a few months, and along with that, you will get to know your weaknesses, your strengths, and your time management skill as well. And then you can go from there and see how you can build up on your strengths and fill up your weaknesses.
So like हाँ ये भी कि like constantly once you've devised your preparation strategy, keep on giving constant mocks. Like
Yeah, that
one
is
of
very
my
good.
mistakes that I made was कि मैंने initially बीच में mocks छोड़ दिए थे because of school. So like end में for like last 1 month, I used to give four mocks a week. And सुनने में it sounds like oh भाई इतने mocks, but it's exhaustive on you because you don't have your brain to take a break from giving a mock and analyzing it. मतलब मेरा शेड्यूल ये होता था मैं सुबह को एक मॉक देती थी रात को एक मॉक देती थी. But I used to give because I was like अच्छा ये number of mocks है मुझे करने हैं. Instead of focusing on कि मेरी improvement हो रही है नहीं, my focus was I have to do these number of mocks. तो उसमें change हो जाता है. So इसलिए constantly mocks देते रहा करो.
So the next question that they have, I guess we have already answered it. They have asked like how to manage both boards and CLAT prep together. So I think we have kind of answered that question already.
हाँ.
If you want to add something.
नहीं आई थिंक यही है मतलब हाँ अब तो आई थिंक मैक्सिमम लोगों की क्लासेस भी कम हो गई होगी या ऑलमोस्ट सिलेबस कंप्लीट हो गया होगा. तो मतलब क्लासेस अगर तुम स्कूल की इतनी ना अटेंड करो तो भी ठीक है. मतलब genuinely speaking I have fought with my teachers in 12th grade saying कि मैम मेरा क्लैट है I won't do it because मेरे लिए क्लैट फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी है. You will get scolded but you need to set your priority straight. That's the only thing.
From when you thought that
हाँ.
you should give CLAT and started preparing for it. So for me, I think I thought about giving CLAT in 11th grade. So in 11th grade, I was a humanities stream student. I was very confused regarding my career, because like even in humanities, they say there are a lot of opportunities. There are very less tangible careers in India, I'd say. I mean, there are careers, but still, not that much surety, right? So my dad was like, you should go ahead and do law. So I thought I had a caliber of doing law, and I was like really. I also enjoyed reading, and I also enjoyed like coming up with arguments and all that stuff. And yeah, so I thought I should do law. Then I was searching online for the exams related to law, so that I can get into a good college. So I got to know about CLAT, but I started preparing for CLAT seriously just I guess 6 months before the exam. Seriously, I did not start preparing for it in 11th grade like many people do. I started preparing for it seriously 6 months before the exam. So yeah, what about you, Avisha?
I think मैंने 8th में decide किया था that I wanted to be a lawyer and it's a story my parents tell everybody कि ये बहुत decisive रही है इस मामले में. And it was mainly because मैं SST में बहुत interested. Like SST was my hands down favorite subject. And then I used to do MUNs. So उससे पहले interest बना कि अच्छा UN में जाएंगे, diplomat बनेंगे. Then it turned into law and then I've stuck to it from 8th till now. So for 10th में my dad said कि अच्छा you've decided to do law and you've decided to do humanities लेनी है. You've picked subjects of your choice. Like luckily I had the option to choose legal studies in my 12th grade. So that's it. अब आगे देख what you have to do after 12th. So that's when I researched about कि अच्छा papers कौन से होते हैं, किस universities में कैसे admission process होता है. And उसके बाद I joined coaching in 11th. I did do my basics well in 11th, but मैंने भी like I think main जो end वाला धक्का था वो last 6-5 months में लगता है. उससे पहले तो तुम्हारा मन ही नहीं रहता. You're like अच्छा
हाँ,
हो
उससे
जाएगा,
पहले
आ रहा है, हो जाएगा.
है टाइम अभी.
हाँ.
Okay.
GK is one thing that you have to do constantly. नहीं तो फिर फंसोगे end में.
Because like I started preparing for GK 4 months before the exam, I guess. Because like GK में मुझे इतना interest नहीं था, like ऐसा कुछ मतलब modules वगैरह कौन पढ़े, but like I
हाँ.
really enjoyed studying big topics like जो बड़े बड़े main मुद्दे चल रहे हैं around the world, and I like to study
हाँ.
them in detail, and that was what CLAT was about during that time, right?
हाँ
After that,
बट हमारे
it
में
gave
ये
us a
हुआ था ना.
shock. After it gave
हाँ
us a
हमारे में
shock
तो ये
on
हुआ था
exam day.
that they covered everything जो 7 महीने पहले हुआ था.
Yeah,
और
true.
वो भी कुछ मेजर नहीं था. It was like nobody knew about what was going on. They're just bad because they said कि हम static knowledge नहीं check करेंगे, but then they were
Yeah, but
checking static
you
knowledge.
can't really trust CLAT that much as an exam.
हाँ,
Especially like उसके sections में वो कैसे questions डालेंगे, but still you can have a basic idea about that and prepare for that. So the next question is, was this your first or second attempt? This was my first attempt, Avisha. I guess it was your
my
first
first attempt as well.
Okay, so the next question is, okay, we have covered this. What are the career options after LLB? I am still figuring out as a law student. I'm still figuring that out.
However, I think I have a bit of a clue about it. So there are a lot of things you could do.
You are right.
India में there are not a lot of options, but बाहर अगर if you're interested to go बाहर, so there are a lot of options. So one standard way is कि तुम अच्छा you become a litigator, that is you practice at courts. Another way is that you become lawyers with firms. You work as lawyers as in-house counsel basically. जैसे बड़ी companies होती है Tata, um, Adani Group, so they don't go to other people to have handle their law cases. So उनका अंदर ही अपना in-house counsel होता है. And if you want to look for non like direct law options, then there is criminology as well. A lot of people who are criminologists do have a law background. Then तुम forensic science में जा सकते हो. So there are a lot of things you could do. Then there's upcoming as well. There's legal tech as well. So there are a lot of things you could do like that.
You can also go into teaching. You can also go into non-legal fields as well. Because along with doing an LLB degree, you're also doing the subject like BA or BPA, right?
BA हाँ मतलब mostly तो integrated ही चलता है. You can get into government policies as well. So you can work with national commissions. You can work with government departments जिनकी policies बनती है, guidelines बनती है, तो तुम उसकी drafting में help करते हो.
You can also work with NGOs if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is steps for self-preparing students who are preparing by themselves.
अच्छा, all right. तो एक है कि again, so you'll ये तुम्हें online material मिल जाएगा. Draft a list of basics that you have to do. If you don't have a subscription for any coaching centers mocks, please do get one because mocks are the most helpful thing that you have for CLAT. So कोई भी center है उसके mock के packages होते हैं. Almost all the centers have it. Get a mock package and keep on practicing mocks. And उस basis पे same वही analysis करो. Strengths क्या है, weaknesses क्या है. You can find free videos on YouTube. So I remember one channel that's by the name of Grade Up because मैं बीच में उनको use करती थी for certain English basics. So there's that. Then there are you can find a lot of online websites as well. I think internet is the best thing. मतलब तुम कुछ भी search करो ना, you will find everything on internet. अब जैसे if you plan to give LSAT as well, like most people are. So Khan Academy has a separate section for LSAT जिसमें तुम अपने LSAT की predicted date बता सकते हो. You can tell the number of mocks you're interested to give within that day. And what Khan Academy does is तुम जब भी एक mock देते हो, they analyze it, they see तुम कहाँ fail where are you doing good and where are you doing bad, and then on इस basis पे वो तुम्हें specified exercises देता है. So जैसे तुम inference based English passages गलत कर रहे हो, so it will give you more of English inference based passages, and then उसमें भी you can set your settings. So तुम्हें जैसा लगता है कि अच्छा I should do higher level of them, higher level वाले inference passages, so you can set your level as well.
Yeah, I agree with the advice of Avisha. Have a list of all the things you need to cover, the basics you need to cover, and attempt mocks in a regular manner. One more advice which I would give for self-preparing student is to be consistent, because when we join a coaching, it becomes easier for us to be consistent, right? So we like study daily and we can have a schedule. But when you are not enrolled in a coaching and studying by yourself, it is very easy to fall out of the track of studying daily or studying regularly, basically, right? So be consistent, like study at least 6 days a week for CLAT, and that is going to really help you.
You could also download Telegram. So Telegram पे Legal Edge and LST for law के public groups है. So you can join them and do practices. So they upload daily practice questions. So you can join that and use that as well. So GK के लिए you could use websites like Drishti IAS, GK Today. So ऐसी बहुत सारी websites होती है ना that are used for IAS. So you can use those as well because they provide an in-depth analysis and that's what you need. But अगर तुम वो नहीं करना चाहते, so you can also stick to newspapers, editorials, newspaper articles. There's also a website that brings out Hindu का analysis. So they analyze the Hindu, I think, for a week. And then फिर उसके in-depth news होती है, so national, international, sports wise की. तुम्हें पता रहे कि क्या क्या वो है important.
Yeah, along with that, I will try to link a drive folder with the resources that we are suggesting so that you can like access them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll link the resources in the description. So the next question is, please suggest how to improve comprehension skills.
Two things. Pehla is read editorials, because editorials are very helpful because they help you develop a wider range of understanding. So there's some people who are good in politics related news. There's some people who are good at science related news. So read different kinds of editorials. Read those related to opinions. Read those about books. And every time you do that, make a note कि अच्छा इस passage में इस चीज के बारे बात हुई है, इस चीज के बारे बात हुई है. When you're doing it in a physical form, underline the main keywords. Underline कि अच्छा ये sentence इस बारे में बात कर रहा है. Focus on connectors, the maybe, the but, if, when. They're very important because वो conditions apply कर देते हैं. And whenever there's a conditional thing, तुम्हें पता है कि इस पे क्वेश्चन आएगा, because it's a gut feeling. तुम्हें naturally आ जाता है कि अच्छा if they're specifically mentioning ये ऐसे होता है, but ये भी होता है, so then there must be a reason why they're mentioning it. So figure out as to why they're mentioning that in comprehension. So that's one way. तुम read करो, you understand what's written in a passage, and then you write a small note about it कि what are they talking about, what are their main ideas, and what is the tone of the passage. Second वो है कि तुम comprehension के question solve करो. You can find them online as well. There are a lot of, because online बहुत material, you have it for GMAT, you have for pre, you have for CLAT, you have for CAT. So तुम्हें ऐसे बहुत सारे एग्जाम्स के लिए comprehension questions मिल जाएंगे. So वो practice कर सकते हो.
Yeah, I agree. My advice is same as Avisha's. Another question related to this is how to ace reading comprehension and critical reasoning section. I guess reading comprehension we have covered.
सब covered. Critical reasoning भी same है. Critical reasoning में भी editorials. Again, editorials best source है to study. तुम the Hindu पे पढ़ो and the Indian Express. The Hindu and the Indian Express do genuinely have quality opinions. And the Times of India में occasionally आता, so you would have to like search it a bit more. So usually Times of India is recommended as a secondary option to refer for editorials, and then critical reasoning की exercises, because of critical reasoning analysis based है. So there are a lot of, again, यही same GMAT भी इनकी websites होंगी. You can find small PDFs of their books, sample PDFs, जिसमें practice questions होंगे, वो download करके use करो. So use them.
Yeah, along with that, I would also recommend कि critical reasoning के जो basic, points हैं, like try to see the question, the kind of questions you are doing wrong, like assumption based question wrong कर रहे हो, inference based question wrong कर रहे हो, and like go on the internet and search for the explanation of what is an assumption and how to find an assumption basically. And you will get resources related to that. And there are also some guides by GMAT related to what is an assumption, how to find them, strengthening, weakening, so that you can refer to them as well. I will try to link some in the description as well. So someone has asked us for the basic tips of all the subjects. So I guess we have like covered the basic tips of 4 subjects, that is RC, critical reasoning, maths, as well as GK. So I think now we should talk about how to approach legal reasoning and how to study for it, basically, or prepare for it.
So legal reasoning के लिए one is that you go through legal basics. That is कि तुम पढ़ो contracts क्या होते हैं, contracts के basics, essentials क्या होते हैं, what is torts, कितने types के torts होते हैं, उनके basic essentials क्या होते हैं. So like absolutely basic knowledge. Like जो knowledge जब तुम law school में आओगे, you will realize is not even 0.001% of the subject you're studying. So ऐसे, so basically important case laws क्या हैं and all that. So that's important stuff. Legal reasoning में, but a lot of, I think, legal reasoning is going to be on the basis of recent legal news where they put out articles. जैसे a marital rape recently has been in news a lot, and there's a lot of discussion going about it. So you could expect something related to marital rape. So read about marital rape. अच्छा previously legal history क्या रही है. Basically, you can refer to websites like Bar and Bench, the Live Law. The print also has good articles. They also don't provide that much of a legal depth. However, they do provide a bit of a legal perspective. So the print is also a good website for that. But legal reasoning, the maximum focus is going to be during the exam. तुम basics पढ़ के जा सकते हैं. You can practice the type of questions that you get, but it's only during the exam that you understand कि अच्छा ये clear है, ये relation ऐसे follow होती है law में. because the thing is perspective that unless you're appearing for ALET का perspective ये है, NLUD genuinely have this perspective that if you want to do law, you need to have a strong legal acumen. So उसमें law का section सबसे tough होता है. But for CLAT, their perspective is completely opposite to NLUD's. Their perspective is कि तुम हमारे पास law पढ़ने आ रहे हो. So it means you almost have a negligible knowledge of law. So they just want कि तुम्हारे पास basic knowledge हो. And the knowledge that you have, the knowledge that you get in the paper, you know how to apply it. So basically they'll give you a small principle like one line में कि अच्छा the contract happens जब the acceptance is when there is a clear acceptance by the other party and the offer comes to और तुम्हारे knowledge में आती है वो acceptance. So when that happens, you have established a contract. So then it will give a similar case कि जैसे there was person A, उसने 20 lakh की offer दी for B's bike and B accepted that offer, but वो offer A को reach नहीं हुई. So does that offer stand? Yes or no? So they'll have yes, it stands, and then give a reason to why it stands. Yes, it stands, and another reason for why it stands. Then it's no, it doesn't stand, and a reason for it. और या फिर D होगा none of the above. So ऐसे करके होगा वो. It's that you need to know that you've read it, you've understood, and you applied it to the series, what the question says. And that's how you're going to solve the question. The only thing you can learn this is through practice.
Yeah, I agree. And also with regards to legal reasoning, don't try to apply a lot of brain in legal reasoning. Basically, what you need to do is जो information दी है उसी में से infer करो and try to apply that particular fact, that particular law which is given on the facts. कोई additional information तुमने जो पहले पढ़ी होगी वो apply करने की कोशिश मत करो, because कभी कभी ऐसा होता है that वो अपने law में भी थोड़ा change कर देते हैं just for the sake of it. They might change their law and फिर उसी को तुमको fact पे apply करके you have to show, because they want to know if you understand what is written basically, right? So CLAT is more about comprehension.
So एक ये भी है कि except GK and maths, for every section except that, so मैं outside knowledge लगानी ही नहीं है. You need to learn how to compartmentalize कि अच्छा ये मैंने बाहर पढ़ा है, but this doesn't refer to the paper. Now for example तुम्हें English में passage आता है about marital rape. Now you know actually कि अच्छा कौन सा IPC provision है, वो IPC provision कैसे apply होता है. But the passage doesn't deal with that. So तुम्हारे लिए at that point of the time that knowledge is irrelevant. So learn to compartmentalize कि अच्छा जो लिखा हुआ है that's the important thing. So और ये strategy पूरे paper में, like if you start practicing through the mock, it's very good. Like I practice it, so मैंने actual CLAT ही दिया था. एक ये और दूसरा कि the moment I'm done with the set of questions, I used to reset myself in the exam room. Like ये मैंने again CLAT के दिन ही apply किया था सिर्फ. But it's good if you start applying it through mocks as well. कि अच्छा मेरा एक set of, so my first set is done in English, so reset. Now my second set doesn't depend on what happened in set 1, doesn't depend on what will happen in set 3. It's just a separate set. Unless paper में explicitly mention है कि set 1 को refer करो या set 3 को refer करो.
Okay, so the next question is, what do you prefer in note making? Online notes in docs or Word and print them later, or handwritten notes?
इसका तो depends का answer है. ठीक है. And now I am somebody, so my parents, especially my dad, has emphasized a lot on written notes because science ये कहती है कि जो तुम लिखते हो तुम्हें याद रहता है. So if you're somebody who's comfortable with online notes, make online notes. If you're somebody who's comfortable with writing, so write.
Yeah, I agree with her. And along with that, I used to only take current affairs notes for CLAT and a bit of English के थोड़ा मोड़ा jargon या जो भी rules होते थे, which I need to remember. I used to take them. I used to take them typed. Current affairs में specially typed इसलिए लेती थी because current affairs में we had to connect so many dots. Basically for preparing for CLAT, we had to connect so many dots of different things, and there were new updates every day, right? So what I did for that, I used to take online notes only in my spreadsheet, not even in a doc. I used to take it in a spreadsheet so that I could increase or decrease the cells, and I can just write the new information in that. But whatever feels comfortable to you, do that, because at the end of the day, you are the ones who will be studying from your notes, and you need to be able to remember them, understand them. So it all depends on you. Okay, so the last question is, are there any other tips for the students who are preparing for CLAT right now?
Eat healthy. It doesn't work. Genuinely doesn't work. मैं वैसे ये नहीं कहूँगी. Actually, eat healthy से ज़्यादा is eat what you want, because what you eat makes you happy. I hate what relaxes you, eat what makes you happy, because it's all a mind game. CLAT genuinely is all psychology. The moment you learn how it plays with your psychology, you can do it. Another thing is sleep well whenever you get time. Sleep. Like मैं क्लैट के टाइम रात को 11 बजे पावर नैप्स लेती थी. So I used to sleep from 11 to 11:30. फिर मैं सुबह 3 बजे तक पढ़ती थी. Because it used to work for me. So do what fits you, do what works well for you. But there are certain things that you should do that I would also advise you to do. One is to recognize कि कौन से order में तुम्हें paper attempt करना है. If you already have a strategy that works for you, great. If you don't, then devise a strategy. कि अच्छा, if I do legal, पहले I do well in legal, I score more in illegal rather than doing legal in the last. So devise a strategy that suits you and suits your scores. So this is a perfect time to experiment with strategies. अगर तुम ऐसे इंसान हो जो सेम ऑर्डर में पेपर अटेम्प्ट करते हो, then सेम ऑर्डर में करो. Another thing is have a set of people that you discuss your CLAT with, right? कि not CLAT के दिन but पढ़ाई के टाइम. तो हम मिलकर नहीं डिस्कस करते थे, बट किसी दिन मैं अपनी दोस्त के साथ डिस्कस करती थी. Another day I should discuss with another of my friends. So sometimes we used to exchange mocks, we used to attend them together, and then हम discuss करते थे कि अच्छा ये आंसर ऐसा क्यों है, ये आंसर ऐसा क्यों है. What happens is to make sense of comfort मिलता है, because they understand what you're going through and you understand what they're going through. So एक sense of comfort आता है, basically एक brothership सी बन जाती है. And another thing is don't lose hope. मेरा predicted score for CLAT on the day of CLAT exam was 81. I cried for 2 days, and our CLAT ka whole schedule was so messed up. We had CLAT on Friday. नेक्स्ट उससे बाद वाले वेडनेसडे हमारा क्लैट का रिजल्ट आ रहा था. और उसके बाद वाले फ्राइडे और सेम वीक में फ्राइडे को वी हैड आवर A Levels एंड आल्सो 12th ग्रेड के रिजल्ट्स ऑन द सेम टाइम. सो मतलब आई वेस्टेड 2 days क्राइंग कि मेरा प्रेडिक्टेड स्कोर 81 है, आई वोंट गेट इनटू टॉप 3, मुझे तो मुश्किल से क्लैट कोई भी NLU मिलेगा. मेरा रिजल्ट एक तो क्लैट consortium तो अलग ही है. So if they said that our result will be on Wednesday, I came out on Wednesday night 12 बजे जैसे Thursday हुआ था, and my actual score was 91. So don't lose hope. I regret that I wasted 2 days crying, जिसमें मैं instead ALET के लिए पढ़ सकती थी. I could have done better on my ALET. तो वो है. The factors that are not in your control, don't think about them, don't stress about them, don't be like अच्छा ये क्या करूंगा, वो क्या होगा, वो कैसे करूंगी. Don't give a damn about them. Things you can control, focus only on them. And that also includes CLAT consortium. Don't trust CLAT consortium. CLAT consortium हर बार ये कहते हैं कि हम तो बच्चों के लिए हैं, and then they go and mess it up. Don't do that. Trust yourself. जो भी करो अच्छा करो. नहीं होता, it's fine. There are a lot of options other than NLUs as well. I know ये तुम्हें रहता है कि अच्छा यार NLU में नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा, ये घर पे सेम स्ट्रेस रहता है. There are other good colleges as well. And it's not only about OP Jandal. You have Simbi, you have Christ, you have Amity Law, which despite Amity Ghatiya image is actually a good college. Amity Law genuinely is good. So there are a lot of options. Don't think कि अच्छा मेरा NLU हुआ नहीं हुआ तो बस दुनिया खत्म. दुनिया नहीं खत्म है. NLU वालों को भी उतना ही हार्ड वर्क करना पड़ता है to get internships, to get good internships, to get more experience as other people have to do. हाँ ठीक है, NLU का टैग है, NLU की प्रेस्टीज है, but that prestige doesn't guarantee your job. It genuinely doesn't. What guarantees your job is you yourself. So तुम्हें अगर वो prestige के साथ job लेनी है तुम उसके साथ ले सकते हो. And if you have the drive, you can get that job without the prestige as well.
Yeah, I agree with Avisha, and along with that, I would also like to add the point, just expanding on Avisha's point, is that keep backups, have backups. So just do not, rely on a single law entrance exam. Don't just rely on CLAT. Do your best in CLAT, obviously, like give your best in CLAT, but also have backups. You can, give IELTS, SLAT, other exams, even exams of some local colleges if you want to, because you need to have good backups.
You should buy specific OMR pens. So they're genuinely really good and reliable during exams. So if you want names, Google Pay, you can search so their website. So there are Quora Pay people who have recommended pens.
Yeah.
They are tad bit expensive, but they're very reliable for OMR, because OMR में specific say होता है that when you color the circle, darkened होना चाहिए वो properly, नहीं तो machine read नहीं करती. So there are certain pens that have been made for OMR purposes, so you can find and buy those pens as well. Okay, I think for motivation, the best is if quotes work for you, then get motivational quotes, bring them out. Another thing you could read is motivational books if they work for you, or you could watch motivational movies as well. So I say there are a lot of things, movies, series that you can find जो तुम्हें motivated रखती है. There are songs as well. Like मैंने like exam से पहले before on the way to the exam room exam uh, location, I was listening to Freed from Desire. So you can have a motivational playlist. Okay, there are certain songs like Gonna Fly Now, जो Rocky से है, good song, very motivational. Free from Desire, so I have already mentioned.
And Baki, it is all upon you how you are studying, how well you can do on
Yeah.
that day, and how well are you able to comprehend. And just because you're not doing well in one mock, it does not mean that you are not going to do well on your final CLAT examination. So I never got as high marks in any mock as I got on my CLAT examination. I guess like I barely got that high marks in like one or two mocks. That's it. But CLAT examination ke din, it's different than your mock, and you will get wo adrenaline aa jata hai tum mein, and you can do much better. So don't get demotivated by just your mock marks, and stay motivated. And even if you someday, if you want to skip studying for CLAT, do that. If you want to take a break, do that. It's fine. And just take it as a phase in life. Don't think that it is your life. Take it as a phase.
हाँ,
बस.
मतलब just don't take कि अच्छा CLAT हुआ
हाँ.
तो end है, कुछ end नहीं है.
हाँ
That's the
भाई.
thing.
Yeah.
We still
हम
in Oxford,
NLU में
we're still
आके भी वही
struggling.
कर रहे हैं, स्ट्रगल. The struggle never ends. So
Exactly.
life set है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. But
ऐसा
yeah,
कुछ
it
नहीं.
will
That's
help
just
you.
like what parents say to make you study. It's not
Yeah.
true. Life नहीं set
So
होती, कभी नहीं set होती.
so like study hard, do what you have to do, and you know what you want in your life, so you will work for it if you really want. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you, Avisha, for coming on my channel, and I think my subscribers really appreciate it.
If we get a part 2, I'll again be a part of it.
Sure. So if you guys have any extra questions, leave them in the comments of this video itself, so that if we decide to make a part 2, if we get enough questions, we will try to make a part 2, but I will try to answer most of your questions in the comment section itself. So just put them there. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more content related to my life, basically. I do not have any particular niche for my channel anymore. So yeah, live your best life. Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
live your best
Bye.
life.